Hi, this is Maria.
And this is Sheila.
And we want to welcome you to The Moms I Know,
Homeschool Edition.
We're so excited to bring this series of episodes focused on homeschooling. We're going to talk to you about what homeschooling is, whether this is right for your family, how to do it, and lots more.
So stay tuned.
Whatever education is, it should make you a unique individual, not a conformist. It should furnish you with an original spirit with which to tackle the big challenges. It should allow you to find values which will be your roadmap through life. John Taylor Gatto.
I love that quote because we're really looking at the essence of education here. And Sheila, you and I have spent so many years working with families in education. We've homeschooled our children. We've sent our kids to private and public schools, charter schools. We really have grappled with this question of what education is. And so I'm so excited to be doing this next series with you.
Yeah, and I think it's very appropriate because homeschooling is growing. Homeschooling is a movement, home education, and I think you and I are experts. You know, we have been there. We have been in the trenches. We have facilitated learning from the teacher perspective as well as the mama perspective. And so we get it. And, you know, when I look at schools today, public schools today, because I am a proponent of public school. I was a public school teacher. You were a public school teacher. I know you know the value of public education. I know it builds community and it is important. However, things have changed. Times are changing. And I think, in a year or two, I might be with that decision again of, is it time to homeschool? You know, I even asked my high schooler, do you want to homeschool? Whether it's gun violence in school, you know, we're in California and we just had an incident last week and we are saying that all too often. Whether it is anxiety in children at all ages, not just, high school, which it used to be, but we're seeing that anxiety, that pressure coming down into those early ages. Is that worth it? I know both you and I are those guardians of childhood. So that's where home education is a good fit. I know that sometimes there are health issues. There are, just so many things where home education is a viable option.
And it's something that's such a personal decision for each family. And, like you said, we are proponents of public education. We believe in education. And, for those of you listening, you may be thinking about this homeschool journey. You may already have jumped in. You may be thinking that's never going to work for me. But we're inviting you to listen to this and to think about what is going to be the best option for your child. And if you have multiple children, it can be different for every single child. And so we've come to these decisions within our families to decide, do we go with what's flowing right now? Do we pull them out? Do we start homeschooling right from the beginning? I'm starting to work with a little parent group with toddlers right now, talking about these questions and what styles and what type of education are they looking at. And so this is a really big question. So this series that we're going to be doing on homeschooling, it may not be for everybody, but I think that it's going to bring up a lot of questions that people can grapple with. And whether you choose to jump into this journey or whether you choose to keep your child or put your child in a public school or a private school or however, these are all choices that we make as parents. And when you said we're the experts, I kind of chuckled because yes, we have so much background. And also there is no one right way. There is no quote unquote expert audit. But I think, this idea that we've been there, that we've heard so many stories, we've worked with so many families. So not only have we homeschooled our own kids, but we've worked with all of these people that have been homeschooling. And so there are trends, there are themes that run through it. And I think that, this idea that if you are interested, yes, you can do this. And there's so many reasons why, and you've listed quite a few, but, for some, it may be wanting to have more quality time with their family. It may be wanting to travel. It may be that your lifestyle is such that you're just choosing to be in a slightly different community. For some people, they look at homeschooling as isolating, but for other people, it's enriching. It's creating a whole community of your own. And so I just really appreciate the fact that it can be such a different journey for so many different families, but ultimately we're looking at what is the best situation for your child at this particular time, at this particular stage that they're at. And then we can really go from there. And we're going to be covering a lot of different topics in this series of episodes, but all of them are designed to get you thinking about this essence of education.
Yeah, and in that regard, I do believe that we are talking about homeschooling, but this is also a discussion on education. This is also a discussion of how do children learn, and also how do parents teach. And, you know, when I say expert, I know I heard that chuckle and I was like, wait, no, we are, you know, and it's interesting because I think as parents, we are the experts of our own children.
Yes.
Nobody knows our children better than we do. So that makes us an expert, right? And so we want to say that, you know, anyone can homeschool, but is it for everyone? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? It's like you have to also that next question, because I think you have to have the intention. You know, I think one thing when I look at homeschooling families and the ones I work with, it's just like I see well-intentioned parents and these parents that are wanting to dig deeper, the parents who are doing the research. And that's one thing that we will talk about is how do you do the research? Where do you find the research? How do you know how your child learns? And so we are going to like uncover those pieces to really show you how you can do this so that you can help your child be successful with education.
And I really like the way that you talked about this, that it's just going to be looking at all of those aspects. And that when I was working with families over the many years, well, I'm still working with families, you know, I don't have answers for them. I know you don't have answers for the families. You have questions that help them find the answers. So for those of you that are thinking about this, we're here to help you make those choices that are going to be right for your family. Of course, we have resources, we have ideas, we've seen things that have worked really well, we've seen things that haven't worked so well, we've done them ourselves. I laugh that, you know, we've made mistakes along the way, but we've always had our children's best interest at heart. And then at certain points, we've also had to look at the rest of the family and at ourselves and what's being gained, what's being lost, what are the questions that we have to look at as a whole family community and the needs of everybody in there. And so I love that we're going to be tackling all of these kinds of questions and helping people make those choices for themselves.
Yeah. And I think that's our job as guides, as teachers, as parents, is to really have those questions, you know, and think about those questions. When I think about in my own experience of, I don't want to say self-development of, you know, kind of going deeper, digging deeper. It's not somebody giving me the answers. It's not somebody telling me what to do. It's somebody asking those questions and then me going deeper and, you know, and finding out those answers. So I really like that you said that. That was great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we're creating the homeschool handbook, and that's going to be available for all of you, but it is going to be, you know, suggestions, ideas, and yet ultimately we look at parenting, you know, we've said this before, it is a spiritual journey. It's a journey of self-development. I mean, I love the fact that we all get to kind of recreate our own childhood along with our children. We get to go in and look at our own inner child. We can kind of heal some of the wounds. We can look at the grand scheme of things, and hopefully we can raise our children in ways that are going to be so enriching for them, and that, you know, they can grow up to be the full expression of who they are supposed to be.
Yeah, no, you're excited because you just mentioned we're doing a homeschool handbook, and, you know, in addition to a homeschool handbook, we're going to do a homeschool playbook that really expands on, you know, those more of those questions. How do you start a unit of study? And I mean, I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but I'm just so excited that what we're bringing to the table, because this is a conversation, you know, about homeschooling. And I think, I'm just, you know, can't wait to share this with our listeners. And if you guys have questions, please send them our way, because we want to answer them as we go through this series.
Oh, I wish this had been available when I was back with my son at age 6 going, what are we doing? So Anyhow, really exciting.
So until our next episode, just throw this out there. This is what we're doing, and I hope you listen to the next one.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode and got a lot out of it.
And if you want to learn more about homeschooling, we are super excited to share our new homeschool handbook, talking about the basics of homeschool, how to set up your homeschool, and even our real life stories of our own homeschool experiences.
So you can check that out at www.themomsiknow.com. And we look forward to hearing more from you and getting your insights and questions.
And if you can, we want you to share this. We want you to share about the homeschool handbook and share about the Moms I Know. And if you can, rate us on iTunes. We would be so appreciative. Thank you. We are so grateful for our listeners like you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.